When I was a kid, we decorated pretty heavily for the winter holidays, but for most of my childhood, we actually lived in really tiny living spaces, like a one-room apartment. Before that, a small room in a shared apartment, so there wasn't actually that much space to decorate, and we never had a tree because we couldn't afford one and there was nowhere to put it anyway. But we decorated the walls, the windows with like handmade stuff, and we decorated the ceiling. Because, you know, there's all that space up there. Why not decorate it? So I'm going to show you how to do that, but before I do, I want to mention a couple of things about this decoration. One, it will only work if your ceiling is painted with chalk or drywall or lime. It's not going to work if it's plastic or styrofoam panels or some kind of glossy glaze. It has to be chalky, otherwise it's just not going to stick. And obviously you need fairly high ceilings for this, unless you don't mind constantly bumping into these strings. We couldn't actually do this in the first apartment where we lived because the ceilings were too low. You can make the strings shorter, but it's not gonna look as impressive. You could still try though. And second, while these things will sometimes hold forever and you will eventually have to pull them down, they can also randomly fall down. So if you have companion animals or infants who might want to eat that stuff if it's fallen on the floor unattended, tinsel is a pretty big choking hazard, so if you have some kind of small creatures living with you who might want to eat stuff off the floor, I would advise against doing this. That said, if you still want to try this, here's what you need. Cotton wool. I'm using really ancient cotton wool that's been lying in a drawer for several years. Hopefully that's gonna work. Tinsel string. Not really sure where to get that. We just happen to have that lying around, and I'm pretty sure that it's mostly just old garlands that have fallen apart over time. You might be able to buy it, but if you can't, you can just take some wrapping paper and cut ribbons out of it. Or maybe that stuff that they use to wrap flower bouquets, if you happen to have that lying around, which we do because we're poor and we keep everything in case we might need it. Anyway, just some kind of shiny plastic, cut ribbons out of it, and there you go. Tinsel strings. And water. So what you do is you take a tinsel string and a piece of cotton wool and you tie the tinsel string around the cotton wool. There we go. Now soak that in water. And now my favorite part. I used to love doing that as a kid. You could make them different lengths. I think that would look more interesting. I've obviously made some of these a little too long. And that's pretty much it. I hope you have nice holidays, and I hope that your ceiling doesn't look like this. Thank you for watching.